This is my wife's Mazda Miata, and about a year ago, we decided to repaint it ourselves. But let's just say, it's been sitting ever since, and the imperfections are impossible to miss. Today, I'm fixing everything wrong with this car and bringing it back to life. First, we're going to wash the car to remove any grime, dirt, and debris from the paint. Now, if you're anything like me, you've probably watched a few YouTube videos from guys like Paint Society and thought, they make this look really easy. How hard can it be? Well, the clear coat is what gave me the hardest time. There was a ton of orange peel and a few runs here and there, so I tried wet sanding and buffing the car. But that turned into an even worse nightmare. I sanded a little too deep in some spots and burned through the clear coat in others. It was just horrible. But as with everything in life, not everything goes to plan. Mistakes, however, are only valuable lessons if we take the time and learn from them. I started by dry sanding the entire car with 600 grit sandpaper. Then I followed it up with 1000 grit. But this time, I was wet sanding the car. So now we have all the panels ready for primer so that we can get them ready for paint. As you can see, here's the hood. There's a few spots, one here. There's one over there in that corner. There's one up there by the hood. I went through the rear bumper in 2 spots. The front fenders are the worst. I went through quite a few spots. There. There's a lot going along the top of the fender. Same thing here on the other fender. So we got everything prepped. Right now, I'm using this glass cleaner, getting everything degreased and ready for the primer. After finishing up with the 1000 grit, I went over the car and found all the spots where I had sanded through the paint, and I re-primed those areas using a 2K high build primer. Alright, so I went ahead and got everything primed. I'm not saying I'm a professional painter or anything, because there's a lot of splatter. I believe I could have lowered the fan spread just a little bit, and it would have reduced a lot of this overspray. But we did manage to lay it on there pretty good. It's already dry to the touch. It's only been about, I'd say, 20-30 minutes. I did everything I needed to do on the hood, all the spots I needed to do, fenders as well, which is quite a few spots. I honestly could have just repainted the whole thing. Same with the other fender. The rear bumper, it was just those 2 spots. And then this one spot up here. And as for the driver door on the car, it wasn't too much, didn't come out too bad. The only part that I'm a little upset at myself about is I got some overspray up here. But if anything, I could sand this out, respray it black. Just like a gloss black, because this is faded anyways. But yeah, it was just this corner, this edge, and then around here needed to be, oh dang, I thought it was dry. Well, if anything, it'll come out with sanding. If not, I'll redo just that area. Then you have these side mirror pieces. You got 1, 2, I painted or primed both of them. Then I also did the side mirrors as well. So now they're all fully one color. They're dry to the touch as well. There are some imperfections in there, if it'll focus. But we can get most of this out with sanding. Once the primer was set, I repeated the same sanding process. Dry sanding with 600 grit, then wet sanding with 1000 grit to ensure a smooth and even surface. Now the only thing left to prep is the front bumper. All right, so I haven't updated you guys in a while, and a lot has been going on. So this is the car as it sits right now. All of the painting is done to it. All I've been doing, I already wet sanded all the panels. The only thing I have left to do is finish buffing, which this is pretty much almost buffed out. Now, this is what people don't normally show you, or this normally doesn't happen to other people. But on certain spots of the paint, you can see scratch marks. You see those scratch marks? That was with me wet sanding with 1500 grit, 2000 grit, and 3000 grit. I don't know how those scratches cut too deep, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to buff them out, but we'll see what we can do. The only thing left, bodywork wise, is the front bumper. This top half was an OEM bumper. This was an aftermarket bumper that I bought. The complete aftermarket bumper did not fit around the headlights. This is OEM fitment. The aftermarket bumper was like all the way out here, and it was really far down, and there was like 2 to 3 inches of space in between the headlight. It didn't seat flush. The mounting up here was wrong. So I figured I'd just cut the OEM bumper, mold it to this. This is Duraflex. This is the OEM plastic, so it's a little hard to get these to bond together. As for the rear side, I've already fiberglassed everything that had holes in them. The seam along here. And I also, the bottom half, since it was aftermarket, it was too wide. It was like 3 inches too wide. I had to cut the front bumper in half, and then I had to take out like 2 to 3 inches of material and then re-fiberglass it together. So this is what the bottom looks like. I had cut right here in the middle, and then I took out, I think it was like 1 inch on each piece, and then I put them back together. I put fiberglass cloth on the back. I put fiberglass filler in the middle crease here, and then I put a layer of fiberglass cloth over it. I'm still gonna have to go back over this one more time with fiberglass filler. And then on the front, what I did was the space in between the OEM bumper and the Duraflex bumper, I filled with fiberglass filler. Okay, now I did have to use a plastic adhesion promoter. This one, CP199, and it really held together because I've already done this one other time, right? The time that I did this top plastic bumper kept separating at the seam of where it met the fiberglass. So what I did this time was I took all the fiberglass filler that I had on it, and I still have to reshape this side because there's a big gap. Just like same thing over here. Now what I did the first time was I didn't really sand this down to bare plastic or cut down any material. So this time I took a grinder to it, I sanded it down quite a bit. So I should be able to reshape this whole front lip with fiberglass filler. After I knock this back down with 80 grit, I'm gonna use that plastic adhesion promoter, and I'm gonna go back over this whole seam with fiberglass filler, and then I'll reshape it after it's dried off. And then the only thing left to do on the front bumper is flexible spot putty for the flexibility of the plastic and the Duraflex. They flex at different rates, so just to ensure that it doesn't crack later on down the line. And then after that, it would be 2K high build primer, and then you scuff that, and then it'll be in the painting stages, which this is a metallic base coat. It's a silver blackish, and after the base coat, it's just clear coat. You don't have to put the candy over it. The rest of the car, the back half, was candy purple. Other than that, the car is pretty much done. I put the side mirrors back together, put the speakers on, the door cards. I had to rebuild the passenger side door because, well, the window regulator had snapped. There's supposed to be a plastic wheel here for the wire to go around. That snapped and broke, and then after that, the motor completely was shot. So I replaced the motor, the regulator, and this door. I also replaced the window bushings because they were missing on both windows. So now the windows function properly. We do have new door trim on order, new front glass trim on order, and new wheels. I'm actually really excited to get new wheels. This whole car is gonna look completely different. It's really gonna bring the look together. I can't wait for the wheels to come in. I can't wait to show you guys. So the car is completely buffed and polished. There are imperfections in the paint. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's not perfect. It is gonna be a daily. It's gonna end up having rock chips. It's gonna end up having your regular wear and tear. You know, you can see somewhere like there, that's an imperfection. That was, I think, a bug landed in the clear coat. There's a couple more small little nibs and stuff that you could see. But overall, a reflection like this on a daily, you can't really complain. I can see myself. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I am a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to things, but sometimes you just gotta know when to not give up, but learn when to stop. You know, I have to tell myself it's gonna be a daily, not a show car. I'm trying to be so perfect, get all the minute scratches, dings, and well, not dings, but like pinholes or any dirt nibs or anything out of the paint. It's gonna be a daily. It's gonna end up having your normal scratches, your normal rock chips. It's not gonna be a show car. So I'm content with where the car's at now. All right, guys, so the new wheels came in yesterday. I got a little bit of a sneak peek on them. I just opened the top. I didn't actually open and unwrap everything. Oh my God. Wow. Seeing these in person for the first time is amazing. Wow. Look at how the bronze just pops on these. Alright, so now that we've seen the wheels, we're going to test fit them on the car. I already have it jacked up. This wheel is already loose. We're going to take this one off. They're the same size rim. The only difference is the actual rim itself. So we're going to see how these look. I know they're going to clear. We're going to take that one off, put that one on, see how it looks. I can't believe how good these are going to look. With tires on, back on the ground. Oh my God. Compared to that, because the car used to be silver, so the gold was a good offset to the silver. But now since it's black and purple, I feel like this is the way better option than those. All right, now we just have to bring the new set of rims to the tire shop, have them swap out the old tires for the new rims. So we're gonna put the old tires back on the new rims. They're pretty good. There's nothing really wrong with them. I have no reason to change them out. I just wanted to change the rims because it didn't match anymore. So we're gonna get those swapped over and we're gonna see how the car looks. We got the work truck packed. Gonna go drop them off, get them swapped over. I'm almost done with the front bumper. It's coming out pretty good. I'm gonna have to go over it a couple more times. There's still some spots that I haven't fully flattened out or anything like that. And then I did do a test fit on the car just to clearance the tires. So I'm gonna have to remake this arch quite a bit just to get the tire to actually turn and fit through on both sides. This side I had to remake anyways because of how it aligned with the top bumper. So I might just trim this top bumper down because where it hits is all down here, and on the back side I had to angle it. So I'll remake the arches. I'll do a test fit again. I'll double check, see how the tires turn with the new arches on the bumper. They should clear, should be good, and then that would be regular painting process, which should be pretty easy and quick since it's just one piece instead of the whole car. right now we're on the home stretch of the front bumper. I am almost done getting everything done with it. I flipped it upside down because the way that I'm mounting this to the car, like you can see, I already did this side. I took a bolt and I put fiberglass around the bolt. I slid the fiberglass through the bolt, and then I'm using one nut to adjust how far in and out the bumper actually sits. And then there's going to be another nut on the other side that locks it in place so that it looks flush with the car. I made a bracket here because the way that I was supposed to do it, this hole was supposed to be where the bolt went through. For some reason, after I fiberglassed the bolt, it ended up going through over here. So I took this little steel bracket. It was an L bracket. I had cut it in half, and I took one of these. It's just a 2-hole spacer. So one hole here locks this in place. The other hole, the bolt for the front bumper goes through. And then that first nut depends on how far in and out the bumper sits. The nut on the back side locks it in place. So I did have to cut a little bit more of this, bend it out of the way just so that the bolt could fit flush through here with the nut. Now, on the other side, I'm aiming to go straight through this hole that I made. Now, the way that I marked this hole on the front bumper was I took the bolt that I'm using that's going to go here after I put the fiberglass and stuff on it. I took this bolt, you put it through the hole first, and then if you have a good paint marker, you could just put paint on the back side of this bolt. You mount the bumper up here first. After you mount it up here, you slide this side of the bumper up and you push the bolt back. And where the paint lays on the front bumper is where you put the bolt. The paint marker that I have is really old. It wasn't working properly, so I just used a Sharpie. I turned the wheel out of the way, went underneath the car. I pushed the bolt up against the bumper, and then I slowly slid it back and then marked it with a Sharpie on the front bumper. So that is how I figured out where this hole is going to go. Which I did the same thing on that side. For some reason it doesn't line up. It is what it is. I still got it to fit pretty well. So now we got to do this side. I'm going to put the bolt down. We're going to take some small pieces of fiberglass, which this one already has a hole cut through the middle. So we're going to take some small pieces of fiberglass. You're going to cut a hole in the middle, and then you slide it through the bolt like that. And you put it down, you lay down the fiberglass resin, and then you'll be done. Now, I put the bumper like this because if I were to sit the front bumper directly on here with the middle of the front bumper being on the horse, this bolt's just going to keep wanting to fall while the resin dries. And I don't want to stand here for an hour holding the bolt in place just so that it doesn't fall whenever I let go. So I slid it up like this, and even doing this, I still have to, and in even setting the front bumper up like this, I still have to, I still had to make this little contraption so that it doesn't move, and I can still hold the bolt in place with this piece of 2x4. And before, when I did that side, I had to use the jack to hold it in place, but for this side, I just angled it so that this part of the front bumper sits underneath, and then this angle's above, so it's not going to slide. So whenever I put this down with the fiberglass and the resin, this 2x4 just holds the bolt in place. I'll get it as close as possible whenever I lay the resin for this. And then I let go, let it dry overnight. The next day, come out, clean up the threads a little bit if there's resin on it. And then after you clean up the threads, I'll remount the front bumper, double check both sides, and if anything, I'll make another bracket for the passenger side.